What's going on, listeners? This is your host, Brother X, and before we get started with today's episode, I just want to let you know about this wonderful platform called Anchor. It is one of the number one free podcasting platforms that allows you to both not only record, edit, and design your podcast to your needs, where you're able to push out and distribute your podcast to all your listeners across all the different podcasting platforms, whether it is Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, you name it, they are connected to it, and they're a wonderful platform. It's totally free. You can check them out at anchor.fm. And with that being said, guys, let's get into this. Hey listeners, this is your host, Brother X. I've come to you guys before today's episode, and I wanted to just make sure I put the disclaimer out here. Nothing crazy happened in today's episode, but I want to make sure that it's clear that all views and opinions that are expressed in this week's discussion are of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the opinions or thoughts of the Truth and Transparency podcast. With that being said, guys, let's get started with today's episode. And welcome back to another episode of the Truth and Transparency podcast with your host, Brother X, and
the culture scientist.
Why are you smacking in the mic like that? Man, we are trying to be professional.
I was trying to finish chewing, and I didn't get to finish chewing.
You on an episode to back-to-back weeks, and now you don't know how to act?
It was really tasty, though.
Man.
When you just want an apple pie from the two arches.
Man, I'm about to say you were getting Burger King and McDonald's mixed up.
Hey, Burger King has stolen things from them.
McDonald's, literally, creator got stolen from by the dude who owns it now.
I mean, I'm not knocking them. They was blatantly obvious, like, look, no shame in my game. I stole your recipes.
They both mid.
Listen, I'm just saying, sometimes you just want that and you have to have the fix, and I got my fix. That's all.
That's terrible.
Hey, listeners, you see how he picks at me?
Ma'am, when you smack in the ear like you was eating a pack of annihilators, I gotta say something.
We're gonna introduce our guest or not?
I guess we can, but ma'am,
hey,
please respect the mic. I don't want apple pie pieces on the microphone.
I'm nowhere near the microphone.
Listeners, you tell us in the comments whether or not you can hear her in the microphone. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and introduce our guest for this week. We got a couple people. We got some returning guests from season. I guess. Well, no. Is this your first time officially on the podcast? No, you did the Black Panther episode. So yeah, so this is her second time being back. You know her, you love her. Our resident Latinx. Is that the correct term? No? What?
We don't have time for that whole conversation.
I was about to say.
You just go with Latina for now.
Okay. I'm about to say. See, listeners, I asked, I didn't assume. So that's why I asked. All right. Our favorite Latina, Carolina, introduce yourself.
Hey, back. Thanks for having me back, guys.
Of course.
I can't wait to unpack Dreamville with you.
Hey, there's a lot going on. It's a lot. Now, you remember him, I believe, Mr. Smith, you can correct me if I'm wrong. This brother was with us when we talked about Black mothers, like best Black mothers of all time. I believe it's the episode. Go back and run those numbers up. You know him, you love him. The young Dreamville fan himself, Nazi Nas, how you doing?
Hey, I'm happy to be here. I cannot wait to unpack this weekend. It's been a really, really long ride, and I'm ready to get into it.
Respect. And you know him, you love him. He eating all the rest of the annihilators that the culture scientists gave to him. Mr. Smith, introduce yourself.
This green apple is slapping. Anywho, it's your favorite fed, Mr. Smith, also known as the Soundbite Poppy, also known as Mr.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
And I want to thank the listeners for the comments, the places, subscriptions. Keep feeding us and we'll keep feeding y'all. Again, shout out to the Chaotic Culture Podcast for always showing us love and support. Check them out on all of their platforms. And if you gonna murder somebody, understand that karma hits you quick. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, listeners, there's I don't know if it's a
There was.
Well, if I say there was a person by the name of BTB Savage who reportedly was killed in Houston hours after bragging about murdering his ops on social media. I'm not even going to go to the article. I'm just going to be like, how the hell you post something about murdering somebody on social media and then you get got literally hours later? This is why I always say, people, not one, don't murder nobody, because once you leave this earth, there ain't no coming back. And two, don't post it on social media. Just I don't understand.
What?
The whole point of, again,
Yes.
don't murder people.
Right.
But I thought the whole point of trying to kill somebody or murder somebody, is to get away with it.
Well, see, you would think so, but Mrs. Smith, can you go to the next picture so I can give more context? There's more than one picture on there. Hit that arrow. So, listeners, what you don't know is, while bragging about said murdering his ops, he was standing in the apartment where the blood of said op was left over. It hadn't been cleaned up. You can even see the caution tape.
I'm going to say he's standing there with the caution tape.
Oh, yes. Yeah, go ahead. Go to that last picture.
With his hand in the picture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no.
He has a full body.
Broadcast.
Who took this picture?
One of his homeboys. You know it. You know it was one of his homeboys. Mrs. Smith?
There's another question I have to ask. You do know that your shoes are gonna leave a print in the blood, right? Which means you can use that as evidence to catch you.
I mean,
Also,
he admitted it, though.
You said what?
He already admitted it, though. In both
right. And so to that, like you said, it's like, I thought the point was for you not to get caught. Because usually if you murder somebody, you go to jail for life. Or somewhere along that line, or you don't see the light of day. And I'm sorry, I like my life outside of prison. I never want to go to prison. I've never been to prison. I don't want to know what that is. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
That just...
I feel like my attention's in the wrong spot because I just wondering what happened to his arm.
See, I also kind of feel that way because I'm like, he's wearing white shoes at a bloody crime scene. Like, that is...
He went home.
That is kind of brave because, like, people don't even walk outside with their white shoes. They don't want to get them dirty. And this dude is just on a pile, like a puddle of blood. Like, I don't care. But
I'm sorry, you're not the only one that had random questions because my mind, because I can be a clean freak when I want to be. I'm wondering why he got all that trash in his house.
I thought the same thing.
I was thinking that was like the cleanup after the murder scene.
He chopped up the bodies? He's like El Chapo?
I was thinking, like, where's the body?
But this is after, I think, the crime scene came.
So he left the blood there, is what he bases it. He didn't try to get it cleaned up or anything.
Why is that dog over there?
There's a lot of things. Listen, I am sorry. We have gone on a complete and utter tangent. There are so many things going on in this picture.
Welcome to our brains.
You know what else is in my brains? I did not know that beyond Popeyes having their outfit line or their apparel company, they actually have, there's a store called Aldi. Phenomenal, great prices, shop all there all the time. Dog, tell me why they got a full sweatsuit and this is kind of low-key fire.
Listen.
I'm telling you right now, they got the bucket hat with the fanny pack.
I might rock these things.
I would definitely.
Like with the all black with the blue fanny pack.
Got the old like water cup that had like the little swivel wave thing on it.
Listen,
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of wavy. I can appreciate it.
And I'm not feeling her so much, but homie.
Oh yeah, no, he feeling it. Yeah,
he said, "Look, I know what I'm doing in these streets."
Yes.
Listen.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay, white boy.
Oh yeah. You get some kudos. You don't get invited to the cookout, but you get some kudos.
White boy.
Yes. But yeah. But also speaking of well, we'll come back to that. Now that we've kind of gotten off track, let's do a mental health check-in real quick. Carolina, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good actually. My son's on spring break, which normally means chaos in my house, but my boss is also on spring break because her kids are on spring break, which means I don't really have to do that much work. So I'm living the good life.
That sounds phenomenal. That's what's up. Nas, how you feeling, man?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good. I can't complain. You know, I feel like off of that really, really great weekend, I don't have to go back to work until Monday. I'm good right now.
That is a beautiful thing. Mr. Smith, how you feeling?
Twofold. Number one, I'm feeling good because I'm at my boot camps and my workout groups. I'm pretty much smoking people and like sprints, which, I normally could do, but now it's to the point where it's almost too easy. like the trainers have to race me now in order for me to get a competition. So I know I'm getting better and trying to be better with my fitness, as I've been saying over the last couple of episodes. So I know I'm getting better at it. I looked at myself in the mirror, I think today after I did chest, and I was like, oh shit, okay, nigga, you getting me, you get me. But then the second thing for all my gamer folks out there, I decided that okay, let me actually take the time now that my work has been good to play a little 2K and yeah, I've been busting a lot of ass on 2K. I'm talking like I've been dropping 30, 35 pieces on people's heads for like 5 games straight. And
But you won't see me in Mario Kart though.
Okay, remember, I'm a smart fed. I know where my limitations are. Now, if you're talking Mario Kart Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64, oh, I'm giving you a run for your money. If you're talking Nintendo Switch, you have home court advantage. You're a Golden State at the Oracle Arena. I can't beat you 3 games straight with
I just had to put it out there. And I don't know if it was a Baltimorean or a Jamaican, whatever the case may be.
It was a Baltimorean.
Baltimorean, if you were listening, I don't know why, but you still ain't seen me by my hand, so I just need to put that out there.
Oh yeah, she's still, even though she is no longer, I Teacher Bay, love you, please don't kill me. But if the Baltimorean was to ever hear this and even think about it, like she still owes me a fade, and that's never gonna happen. So she's still.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to commandeer your section. Like I always.
Oh no, it's fine. It's exactly why you don't pay me.
Exactly.
But yeah, no. Outside of that, looking forward to Easter. Looking forward to Easter and just trying to stay my ass at home and keep saving money.
That's real. Culture scientist, how you feeling?
Life is still lifing.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So we're just gonna, that part, just make sure I say that. However, and then I had a really cute hairstyle for like 2 weeks.
Can confirm it was very cute.
Yes.
The flowers on
You've seen the Instagram pictures.
Barely, but I took a couple, right?
Yes.
And then, for a week, though, my entire neck was in, pain. I wake up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, in pain, cry. When you just sit there and you just find yourself crying. You're not really sure yet why you're crying, but you're not really crying. Yeah, that's what was happening with my face. So I took the hair down right before Dreamville. But then, I'm still experiencing that pain, but it's going away. And then I was rejuvenated. I can't really complain. I'm just going to take the rejuvenation that I got from Dreamville and keep it flowing and keep being positive because I saw great things this weekend and great things will continue to happen. I have our wedding to look forward to and other things, but that's I feel like I should just make that my highlight.
That's real. I feel you, man. I think to echo everybody else what they've said about it, Dreamville always does a lot for me, very much both from a lot of different emotional spaces, both from where I was last year when I went, and it gave me a break from being all the other hats that I wear. It allowed me to be just a fan, which is very rare for me. And this year it gave me relief to be amongst my peers in a space where I can just enjoy fellowship and not have to worry about work and nothing about stresses of life, But I am looking forward to things coming forward, especially our wedding, but also shout out to my cousin, Cherie. She's been on the podcast a couple different times. She will be graduating in May. So we just locked in our information to go see her up in at the illustrious Hampton University. She's graduating from there, so you know what it is. She got 2-time Hamptonian this piece. All right, but
I'm really looking forward to my bachelorette party.
Yes. Oh, I got mine coming up soon, which I'm very much looking forward to. But yeah, man, everything's Gucci, man. It's looking up. I always keep my family and my parents and everything else lifted up. Mrs. Smith, I know you up to no good. I see you over there. All right, but I'm just grateful for the good days, because right now the good days are outweighing the bad days, and I'll take that every time. What I don't know if I'll ever take is these Popeyes strawberry biscuits, because I don't know how you get dried out strawberries with a dried out biscuit. And I swear, they be trying to be Bojangles so bad. They be wanting to be the Bowberry biscuits. Why are you hating outside the club? You can't even get in. My disdain for these biscuits knows no bounds. They use it to wipe up. You know what? I'm going to stop right there. Yes, Coach the Scientist.
I'm trying to eat these biscuits.
You're not wrong.
So sorry. What I was gonna do was try to read the thing. So let's see. Black Twitter,
of course,
hilariously reacts to Popeye's strawberry biscuits debut. After years of only offering their buttermilk biscuits, which are typically enjoyed with their signature honey.
Because they dry.
Popeyes introduced the strawberry biscuit, similar to the Bowberry biscuit at Bojangles, or also known as Bojangles. But people listen, go to Bojangles before you go get this one. Anyways.
Yes.
To its menus nationwide on Monday. This dessert takes the brand's famous biscuit and adds sweet strawberry biscuits strawberry bits baked into the center. To sweeten the deal, the chicken fast food chain, I'm sorry, the way it said it, added creamy icing on top of the biscuits. This switch up has left Black Twitter trying out this delicacy for themselves. And the reviews are flawless. To read the rest, log into balleralert.com.
My nigga, every time.
Every time.
Just Ron Burgundy, everything. Every time. You just got to read everything. Like, my nigga, every time.
I will say, though, like, for us who don't have Bojangles up here, I kind of want to try that. You know, that doesn't sound too bad.
I mean,
it's definitely unoriginal. I won't lie. However, like us in Jersey are very deprived of the great fruits of down south. So, you know, we kind of have to get what we can get.
You're not wrong.
Hold on, listeners. Let me just tell you this real quick. If this is not a northerner falling in love with the southern food, listen, he came down and wanted Waffle House, Bojangles, and Cookout. Listen, we taught him well.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And the crab legs on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
It's like every time I come with y'all, we always end up getting like crab legs. But I will say that that's like the only time I ever get them, so it's even that much more of a delicacy. It's just.
I'm gonna say we foodies over here, man. We appreciate good food.
Next time we take you to get ramen.
I'm gonna take you to I got another spot for you next time you come down. Mr. Smith, you had something about these dry biscuits?
The main thing I was just gonna say was, I don't care what you add to it. If you ain't giving me a lemonade or a high C or some type of liquid drink to wash these dry ass biscuits with icing down, I don't want it. So by all means, have your strawberry, have your icing, whatever. I think I've only had in my life, and listeners, I want to make sure you understand, I started eating Popeyes when I was about 11 years old. I am 35 right now. I can count on one hand how many times that biscuit I could go down without a drink. I can count on one hand. So that should let you know.
So to that point, I also love Popeyes. Listen, their red beans and rice, I don't know what it is. I try, nothing beats it. However, you know, I noticed the fact that we always talk about how dry the biscuits are. But do you notice that we still eat the biscuits?
Who?
Now I'm not saying you.
Who?
But like,
Not I.
It's followed with you know, you gotta make sure you have a drink nearby. So it's implying that people still eat it. Not you, but people. So like, I just find that very interesting and funny because like I attempt to eat them because they still taste good. They just, you know.
No, they give you automatic cotton mouth.
I'm just putting that out.
I just gotta put that out there. Carolina, any thoughts?
Not really. I like my biscuits really basic. So anything with blueberries, bowberries, strawberries is not for me.
No,
no.
I'm
biscuit.
Okay, I'm about to say, no, you're not disrespecting the bowberry, right?
No, it's just not for me. It's like to each their own.
I'm just making sure we is a bowberry household in this household.
A cheddar biscuit.
Oh, I do love me a cheddar biscuit.
Okay.
See, I don't like sweet things. I'm more of a savory person. That's
Respect.
Checking because you know Rye's biscuit got them cheddar biscuit.
Oh, I love Rye's.
I'm about to say. Now, speaking of savory things. Oh, I'm sorry, Nas, go ahead.
What's a bowberry?
Oh, see, we have failed you. We gonna educate you next time you die.
So the next time,
appreciate it.
So taste this one, right? Because we have Popeyes too, but taste this one, okay? And then when you come down, we'll get you a Bowberry bit.
We'll promise. We'll make it happen.
And then
Sounds
you tell
like
us which one tastes better.
Yes, but speaking of savory things, Culture Scientist, I know you love a cup of noodles, ramen noodles, oodles of noodles, a lot of things. I got a question for you. Are you smashing or passing a cup of noodles that is breakfast flavored that tastes like pancakes, sausage, and eggs?
I think I'm passing home.
Thinking? Hey, I'm about to say, ain't no thinking. What you doing if you eating this?
Pretty sure I'm passing. That just sounds like if they picked one of the flavors.
Which one they gonna pick, Sid?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's gonna be ramen,
Dog.
pancakes, sauce.
Like, why am I gonna get pancake flavored ramen?
Like maybe they do like the ramen noodles made out of like pancake batter, so it's pancake noodles, and then they added the sausage in like that. But they're not doing that, so I'm a pass.
This is why, Mrs. Smith.
Call me John Stockton. I am assisting and passing this bitch like a mug. Like, no, I do not. No, like Culture Scientist said, if it was like pancake flavor and it has a sweet, okay, I can see it. But pancake, sausage, and eggs and ramen?
Especially eggs. Everybody eggs not created equal, okay?
Listen, me and Teacher Bay had that issue all the time. I like my eggs scrambled with cheese. She likes her eggs hard boiled. So this is definitely a pass from both of us.
Scrambled with cheese, man.
I can't do it no more, man. My doctor talking. I can't do it no more. But we're gonna talk about that later.
I have some. I pulled one out for my dad, homie.
Please do. But yeah, man, that's just some really interesting things. You know it, you love it. We always got the copyrighted music. Mrs. Smith, go ahead, play your music.
Okay. So the NCAA tournament passed, and your shout out to Teacher Bay's state of Connecticut, UConn men's basketball team took home the championship, beating San Diego State. I ain't gonna lie.
School, yo.
Cheers to that cousin. I'm not gonna lie though, I kind of did want Florida Atlantic to finish off the Cinderella story, even though they're technically not a Cinderella team, but they are. But I understand. I was like, the UConn, it was cool, and shout out to the cousin of Angel Reese who actually won. We're gonna kind of get into that a little bit later on. Moving on to the NFL, the main things are one, nothing really happened. Honestly, it's been really quiet because everybody's kind of focusing on the draft. The biggest news that came out today, I want to say this week, was that Arizona Cardinals owner Michael Bidwill was accused of gross misconduct, including cheating, discrimination, and harassment. And basically, the claim maintains that both he and former Cardinals, there is filed by the Cardinals executive Terry McDonough, and McDonough maintains that both he and former Cardinals head coach Steve Wilkes were left no choice but to follow Bidwill's plan to use burner phones to communicate with former Arizona general manager Steve Keim while Keim was serving a 5-week suspension after pleading guilty to extreme DUI in Arizona. The fact that that's how you know you don't know what you're doing for your job. You have to contact somebody else to be like, hey, so what we got to do, boss? Because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. They just paying me a lot of money and I don't know what to do. So that just came out. We'll see what kind of goes on with that, but nothing really to go on there. Moving on to the NBA. I'll start with the fun and end with I'll start with the league and end with the interesting. So in the league, the West, as I've been saying the last couple of weeks, the Western Conference is pretty much I'm talking like you can separate teams by like one game, listeners. Like that's how tight that race is. So as of the time of this recording, even though games are going on right now, Brother X's Warriors are the 5th seed, followed by the Clippers in the 6th seed, and in the play-in tournament, which is seeds 7 through 10, is the Lakers, the Pelicans, the Timberwolves, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Listeners, the games between Brother X's Golden State Warriors and the Lakers is 1. That is how small the margin of error is. Like literally 1 game is all it takes. And there's only, as of the time of this recording, I'm thinking 3 games left, if I remember correctly. So every game pretty much counts at this point. Lakers actually had a really interesting battle last night against the I don't remember who the hell they were. Oh, Utah. They went against the Jazz, and LeBron should have had a game winner. Well, he had a game winner in the fourth quarter that he should have hit because you're a left-hander. You go with your left to the basket, and it looked good, and it went off, and then they went to overtime, and then in overtime, he was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take care of this shit, and he ended up finishing it. So, the Lakers and the Clippers go head-to-head tonight. They have the same record. Winner pretty much owns the series and takes over the 6th seed. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to end with this, which me and Brother X found pretty freaking hilarious. So, and funny enough, this was actually a Lakers game. Well, it was the Lakers going against the Bulls in Chicago. But that's not the point of the story that I want to get to. The point that I want to get to was that there was a Black person who decided to, celebrate his birthday.
Her.
I thought it was the guy. No, it's the guy that celebrated. She just helped.
Oh, correct. Carry on.
Yeah. So the guy wanted to celebrate his birthday, and he got a suite at the game. But he decided to bring a little bit of extra fun to the game. And I'll let Fox 32 Chicago tell you a little bit more about that.
The court action spotted at the Bulls game.
Yeah, that's putting it politely. The people who rented the suite say a stripper was there for fun and they weren't trying to offend anyone. There were more than just balls bouncing at the United Center.
What you think I'm cheating? Baggy clothes with your bows, let's make the world.
This video from inside a 200-level suite has gone viral.
This is what we really do.
The stripper in the video really did it. Splits, twerking, you name it. So spicy, we can't show it to you.
I hear you like strippers, and it was your idea to bring a stripper on. Is that correct?
Yeah.
A stripper to entertain guests for Jazzy's 32nd birthday. The Chicagoan says she always does it big for her birthday.
We all like family and friends. We're very close. We all been friends for 10 years plus. So we very close, but we just party. When we be together, we have a good time.
Alongside her, Marcus, her friend, that serves as the designated money thrower and the party planner.
The fans holding their hands up. There was others.
Catching money from Marcus.
Yeah.
While the Bulls took on the Lake Show at the UC, the stripper put on a show for all to see.
Play with one of them G's, you gonna see 100 joints.
The United Center issuing a statement saying, we are aware of the video from last night's game. This is a clear violation of our fan code of conduct and premium seating decorum. We do not condone this behavior and have taken appropriate steps to address the matter. The renters of the suite tell me they were not kicked out and will always keep the party going.
If people got to make it all blown out of proportion and all that, man, they just never live, man.
I guess I've never lived then.
I'm with you.
So, listeners, you heard that correctly. The person ended up bringing a stripper to the game. Okay, and mind you, they're in the little suites, for the game. Now, I'm showing our listeners this. I can't do audio because we'll be copyrighted. But yeah, like they were really not playing, and these people are throwing money in the section. Now, the thing that kind of kills me is the fact that my first thought was, how the hell do you get a stripper in the section? And I had to think to myself, well, duh, strippers are normal people first and foremost. So she probably came in with normal clothes, had on some leggings and maybe like the fishnet, like a hoodie or something like that. But she ain't had no heels on, no nothing. And then the next thing you see is they are throwing money in an owner's suite or whatever in the middle of a game. Black people, I need you to hear me clear. There's a time to be a nigga. This ain't it. Okay? Not when the white folks is literally right next door and being like, Tom, what's going on over there? I don't know, Bill. Let's take a look. And
I want to see that.
Don't worry. Carry on.
And to that matter, I'm going to pause it for listeners right there. So here, you'll see a guy that's dancing, right? But then you'll also see the two ladies in the back that just look so disturbed because they're like, what the hell is going on here? And I just want to understand, why do we have to be such a nigga at places? Why? There is no reason to do this. None whatsoever. But to each his own. Anywho, if you have any other NFL questions, comments, or want to learn any more information, please hit up my boy Red Wolf on his YouTube or his Instagram. His links will be in the description below.
You have thoughts, culture scientists, before we move on? Oh, play the other music first.
So like, I'm not trying to be funny though. So like, this is people, they can see their faces.
Yes.
You posted this.
Yes.
They can totally find you. They can totally arrest you.
They already have transactions of whoever bought the booth, yeah.
Like, and this camera is, I mean, you can't see it, but I mean, this camera is up there. Like,
man, why? Your observational skills are somewhere today.
No, I'm sorry. I have a lot of thoughts, but that's where I left at. I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's a lot.
It's funny because you were thinking in your mind, I was like, well, you know these other people, like, what was the other people on the other booths doing? Just as like, well, they probably didn't notice or they were watching the game. Then you see old boy look over and it's like, yep. And then you see him partying, and then you hear about the people like catching money, putting their hands up on under the booth. So I mean, hey, more power to you, man. More power to you.
I will say this is my last question. How would you feel as a fan? You were sitting there watching the game, talking about, all right, come on, boys, we're getting back in here. And next thing you know, $3 float down. You're just like, what the fuck? Wait, hold on. What? And then you just look up and you just see a whole bunch of ones just running out. You're like, what is happening? What's going? You know what? Thank you, Lord. Thank you, God. Let me just keep catching this money. Like, no, we just this is what we gonna do. La 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 la. Niggas. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, Nas.
I really just love the part where the white guy is like behind the other glass. He's just like partying with him. Like I really love that part. But I think on like a more serious note, I mean, I think it's cool. I just know that this is something that is also going to boost his popularity and probably the women too. And I feel like off of this, I mean, it's not necessarily a negative thing, but it's not necessarily a positive thing either. It's going to be his center of attention now, and people are going to know about him. People are going to follow him. He's going to start some type of like business with this, and they're going to start doing little things like, yeah, go to an NFL game with a stripper, and it's going to be, I don't know, like the world changes so much, and like this is nothing you think about would be happening 10 years ago, but now I'm not surprised. I mean, you know, it's kind of crazy.
I actually don't disagree with you.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But you know what else is really interesting? We're going to go ahead and talk about that orange tangerine looking Trumpito, him over there. Mr. Smith, you want to take this one away for now, mind you?
Yes. So listeners, just as a reiteration, now mind you is that part of the story where we try to get on and tell you some key bits of things that are going on in this world. And usually you'll hear people say, now mind you, to get to the critical part of the story. And Trumpito, aka Mango Mussolini, aka that fascist orange motherfucker over there, it's facing 34 felony counts for falsification of business records.
Goddamn.
So if you don't know, the former president, even though our president will forever be Barack Hussein Obama,
talk about it,
and especially after what we will talk about later on in the episode. But Trumpito is facing all these counts because he falsified his business records when it came to getting ready for the presidential election, and all of his charges are pretty much felonies. Now there's 4 years per felony. So you're talking like 100 and some years right now. And let's be honest, he ain't gonna get no time. This man has skated through every single allegation that has come known to man to him. And he is white, and he has white privilege, and he has quote unquote money. So I'm not gonna really, I'm happy that he's been I'm gonna say arrested, allegedly. Well, yeah, arrested. But it basically comes down to the point that he paid $130,000 in hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels in 2016 to conceal an extramarital affair. But it also came out that he has fathered another child that is outside of Melania. That's also part of this money thing too. But the thing that I want to stick out to is shout out to Van Jones.
Are we really shouting him out though?
Well, I'm saying that because Van Jones was on. I'm not gonna say shout out, but I'm gonna say Van, I need you to listen to me because
Come
what
to
I'm
the
about
front.
to yeah,
Come to the front.
listeners, if you don't know, Van was working on the CNN broadcast when they were doing the breaking news of Donald Trump getting out of his car and getting arrested and awaiting arraignment for his crimes. And Van Jones had this to say about the former president.
He looks sad. Yeah, he looks sad. He looks like the weight of it's hitting him, and just as a human being, I don't take joy. I don't like the prison system. I don't like what it does to people. I don't like this process. So I don't take any celebration in seeing him looking that way. He looks sad. Now, doesn't mean that accountability is not owed. We don't know what he's going to be charged with. There's a lot more, but at that moment, that is not a conqueror. That is a granddad having a very bad day.
Yeah, Van, I need you to hear me out. Was that a granddad having a very bad day when he instigated the January 6th insurrection? Was that a granddad having a very bad day when he said grab him by the pussy? Was that a granddad having a very bad day when he did nothing for the coronavirus, when we could have finished it in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, and he said drink bleach? Was that a granddad having a very bad day when he had all these extramarital affairs while running for the presidential election? Was this a granddad having a very bad day when he said, get that son of a bitch out of there, he's fired, throw him under the jail? I don't think so. So I think I'm gonna take pride, and I'm gonna laugh, and I'm gonna have a nice clean shot of a lemon drop while having some popcorn. I'm gonna watch this shit. This shit's great.
Phenomenal.
Back to you, Brother X.
So I mean, listeners, if you haven't already tell,
How you really feel.
I'm about to say we have some very strong thoughts and opinions about it, because ultimately it's like, dog, he should have been under the jail multiple times. But without rehashing too many old things, like white privilege going white privilege, corrupt people going corrupt, and it's just unfortunately it really is what it is, because it's like, dog, people are being shocked, like talking about this like crucified thing, like we're not even talking about Marjorie or whatever the fuck her name is, Green, whatever, comparing him to like Jesus being persecuted and all this other stuff. Right. There's a lot of things that could be said. Mr. Smith?
Thank you for reminding me. I forgot that part. The fact that your constituent compared you to Jesus and Nelson Mandela because you are going to jail. Do you understand how blasphemous that is? Ma'am, this is not the same. This is not the same thing. I think any person of color heard that statement and was like, this bitch is crazy. I cannot believe she said that out of her mouth and actually believed it. Wow. So,
yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts about this?
Orange man.
Yes.
Is not so orange no more.
He gonna get the matching jumpsuit.
But for real, he clearly hasn't had a tan in a long time, or an orange bath in a long time.
No. Like he looked like
His hair is clearly thinning.
It looks like a discolored lemon.
You out of pocket.
I'm sorry. Was that too much? I apologize.
What does Stormy Daniels look like? I know that name.
We cannot neither confirm nor deny this on the podcast. I don't know if we can go that far. You may look up it on your own time. The Truth and Transparency podcast does not necessarily encourage such things, especially if you're under the age of 18. Moving on, Mr. Smith.
I'm gonna end with this. I only have one wish, and yes, listeners, I want to make sure this is clear. This is Mr. Smith. This is not Truth and Transparency. I only have one wish. I wish that he shares the same jail cell, if he does go to jail, with the man that says, I like you and I want you. Now, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. The choice is yours. I came looking for booty.
Oh, God.
I will say, with my, out of all the things that they got you on, it was this. Come on.
The first one.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, they have been trying and trying, and we've been saying, I mean, everybody been saying, I don't know why it took so damn long to do anything about this crazy man who should have never been president.
You're not
like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, there's an easy answer for that. The United States doesn't care about women or people of color or anything like that. They care about white men and they care about money. Therefore, what is he called for? Money.
Well, let's move on from this because I'm done talking about this this unseasoned white person and to talk about some more white people or white adjacent people. Listen, a while back we talked about a story about the couple Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis and how they don't have their children bathe. I may be misquoting it exactly, but yeah, they don't really have the kids bathe consistently. White people, I don't get it. I don't understand. You already look crusty before. Your feet look like the bottom of an episode of the Flintstones. Why do we keep doing this? But we're not here to talk about that today. This story reads that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis revealed that they're going to donate their $275 million fortune to charity and not leave anything for their children. I guess you could say they're doing the kids dirty. All right. They say that they don't want their children to become spoiled and entitled and want them to be motivated to work hard. Now, you gonna have them not bathe and not give them money? Someone got to call Child Protective Services at some point. They are a terrorist to their children. Am I wrong?
So, like, that was my first automatic reaction. Then when I sit and I think and I really consider and I look at other spoiled brat children of the world.
Donald Trump.
Look at what you did there.
That was a good comeback. I feel like, yes, I feel like leaving them absolutely nothing is just a little too wrong. I think they should leave them something, but you have to make it to this and do this and all the little things that you have to do to make, it's also for your children to not become spoiled and entitled. That's also the work that you put in, not just the money that you leave them. So let's worry about that part too. So I feel like leaving them absolutely no money is that is just a little wrong. Teach them something. Give them money, teach them how to do something, and then invest in it. And they will not become spoiled, entitled, and work hard.
Yes.
I want to add that I think what they recognize, and this is something that happens in white privilege across the world, is generational wealth and privilege is hereditary no matter what.
Yeah.
They know that their children, if they teach them good business skills, which they learned from their parents or whatever other resources that got them to the point where they are now, and they won't need $275 million because their kids are going to be good on their own. Their kids tomorrow, they will just being Ashton Kutcher's kids, Mila Kunis's kids, just their name alone will generate money for them. So they don't need to leave them $275. And what they know is that their children will never want to learn these things and earn these things for themselves if they just leave them the money. Now, they might not leave them anything and they still don't want to do it. But that's the issue with generational wealth that we forget, because I guess we just don't have as much experience with it. At least I can speak for myself.
I'm about to say, no, we broke over here.
Yeah,
we broke by broke. We are charter members. But
they know they don't need to leave them the money because they're already rich in privilege. So
yeah, that's true.
Money is whatever. Their kids are gonna make that back and more. And now they get this extra publicity boost of being like, oh, we're great parents, we're doing this, we're gonna leave this to charity. Their kids are gonna be set for life anyway.
Let me help your children out so they don't do anything bad. Oh my gosh, I got you. Yeah, you're right.
That's fair. Nas.
Yeah, I feel like this is either the thing you do to tell your children to scare them into actually working hard and being motivated, or it's a thing you do 2 days before you die when you realize that they are spoiled and kind of bratty. Not to say do that. These people don't do that to your children. But I definitely wouldn't have said this to people. I wouldn't have said this that's gonna raise publicity regardless. If that was their true intention from the very beginning, I feel like just instilling that in your children and tricking them and then giving them the money that they ended up putting into their whatever business that they have is a little bit different, but Nah, I think it's kind of weird that they also don't shower their kids. So to me, it seems like you're kind of screwing them over a bit. I don't know. It's weird.
One or the other. Come on.
I mean, we would like for them to do both, but that's fine.
I would like for them to bathe.
Yes, please. Let's start with that part.
Is it possible that they are so rich that their surroundings are so clean that the
Fuck yeah.
children
No.
never get dirty?
Dog.
Bubble.
If they even touch a drop of water, they smell like wet dog.
Shit.
Feces.
Does there shit?
They probably have these like magics, like smart toilets that like wipe their butts for them, so they're always like just sparkling.
I don't care. You got dookie particles in the atmosphere that is getting absorbed onto you. No, you gonna smell like
best
shit.
Air filters in the world. COVID got nothing on them.
Ma'am, come on now.
I'm just messing
Come
with
on,
you.
come on,
I'm
Mr.
messing
Smith.
with
Mr. Smith, get us back on track.
No, the only thing I would say to this is, okay, from the original statement, they don't want their children to become spoiled and entitled. And I get that and want them to be motivated to work hard because let's be honest, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis worked their asses off. We know them from that 70s show and they done grinded through a lot of their stuff, right?
Except for this no bathing shit.
Now, I agree with y'all. I wouldn't say I would not leave them anything, but I would take it to another way. I would take the Allen Iverson Reebok deal approach, where, okay, out of this $275 million, depending on how many children they have, let's say they leave $5 million per child. But the $5 million per child is left in a trust that they can't access until they hit a certain age.
Yep.
Therefore, they can't be like, oh, well, when I get older, I'm just going to ask mommy and daddy and they're going to give me the money. No, mommy and daddy, we work for it. You got to work for it too. But it's not to say that we're not going to leave you empty handed should we not no longer be on this earth. You will have this in case of emergency that you can pull from once you hit this certain age. So that they always will have something as a legacy to get on. But at the same time, they can't be like, oh, I don't want this Porsche today. I want a new Porsche. And mommy and daddy have the money. Nope. You better get the money for that. So, nah. But I agree with y'all. I mean, I'm sorry. The picture that we're looking at, listeners, Mila Kunis looks dirty in this picture. And I know she's clean and got makeup on, but
I don't know. I feel like her armpits stink.
Like, now that we know this, none of their pictures look flattering.
I just know the bottom of their feet just look pitch black. I just know it.
It can't be pitch black because they didn't say they did not bathe. They said they don't bathe every day.
They are white people
No.
on their house with no shoes. Their feet are black.
No. Their exact words were, they bathe. They just don't bathe their feet. So they got Flintstone feet.
They got them yabba dabba do ones is what they got.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yes, I know exactly. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to something actually more positive, which is what we have our lovely guests on for this week's episode, Dreamville Fest.
Yeah.
So, listeners, if you did not go to Dreamville Fest, what were you doing? You missed out. I don't feel sorry for you. We told people, everyone, get your tickets.
23 countries?
Yes. So, listeners, to give you a little bit of background information, Dreamville Fest is the festival that is thrown by the J. Cole and the Dreamville Records. Yes, Jermaine. The Dreamville Records, a music company. So basically, this festival happens over 2 days where you have artists from Dreamville Records as well as other different types of artists from varying generations. And they just perform, have good vibes, and just kick it. It's a good time all around. So to break down this information, Coach Sanchez, can you read this for me?
Yes. News. Dreamville Fest brought 100K to Raleigh. Thank you. You know, we live in, that's our backyard.
Yes.
Per a release, right?
Yes.
Attendees traveled from all 50 states, plus an additional 23 countries. Crazy to think folks traveled from Alaska, Hawaii, and from overseas. Official economic impact numbers are TBA. Sheesh, Dreamville, listen. We were one of them numbers. Listen.
So just to kind of go through that, I had our guests come on today because it's a really interesting perspective. So for those who do not know, I have been to all three Dreamville Fest, from its original one in 2019 to last year's in 2022 to this year's in 2023. This is Coach's Times. Is your second one?
My second, only because I had an adult last year.
I'm gonna say it'd be happening. And for Carolina and Nas, this is actually the first time. So before I give my thoughts or have Coach Scientist give her thoughts, I would like to open up to our guests for our first timers. Carolina, what was your experience with Dreamville Fest?
It was phenomenal, man. I knew I was gonna enjoy it like from the get-go. Like we got tickets in July before the lineup was even out, but I was just like, I'm going with my homies.
Yes.
I'm gonna have a good time, like, it's gonna be great. And I knew the lineup was gonna be awesome, and if not, at least I get to see J. Cole, who I love.
Yes.
But then the lineup ended up being really like just phenomenal. Like we had Usher, we had Drake, we had Sean Paul, we had Mario, we had
shout out to Waka Flocka.
Yes. Oh my god, put on a great show. So it was that. So once I saw the lineup, I was like, hell yeah, this is gonna be so much fun. But being there, people, I did not realize like all of this music was the soundtrack of my life. Like these artists, like all the way from 13 when Mario and Usher when I was in middle school, all the way to now, like and all the different emotions, the party emotions, the like crying when my breakups, when I was going through tough times, like I had so many feelings I was not expecting while I was at this show. And I feel like if you had to take my whole life and put it into a musical festival, it was this weekend. So I just have nothing bad to say about Dreamville. It's maybe like that little thing, but that had nothing to do with Dreamville. It was that dude that was running around crazy. We can talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. Yes.
But honestly, like my expectations were already pretty high and blew me out of the water. This shit was crazy. I will go I am part of the crew now.
Hey.
Like will be there every year.
Talk about it.
Unless I'm in the fucking hospital, I will be there.
Are some people jealous?
Oh hell yeah!
We saw a lot of people. Hey man, y'all should have came. Like people talking about, I should have. Is there a 1 day pass? No, no, you don't. No, you gotta go to the whole thing.
Stop waiting for lineups.
Yes, don't wait for the lineup. Get your tickets when the pre-sale come on.
Actually, wait for the lineup.
That's so we get our tickets first.
Thanks.
That's true.
Nas,
don't be fair.
All right, Nas, how was your first experience, man?
I will say Dreamville was absolutely perfect. I knew from getting on the train from Jersey how packed it was just from Newark. I knew that, and everyone was going to Raleigh. I knew it was going to go crazy. I knew that show was really going to be good. I felt like all the artists, all of them, really came out and they really like did their thing. Like I've never seen almost any of these people. I've never seen 21. I've never seen I can't even remember everyone. I've never seen Kaz. I've never seen Ari. I've never seen anyone who had been there, and I was really, really blown back with how like much empathy and like how much fire that they really brought to the stage. Like I could feel every song that was playing. Now I am 23. I'm not of my peers and colleagues of present company.
You trying to say he's not as old as
no,
he's not as seasoned.
What did you call me before? An old head. That's okay. I'll
take
an old head.
I don't recall calling you an old head.
You did.
However,
definitely in July.
I felt like the song that even you guys are really rocking to were things that I might have like heard snippets for before, or like I've never heard, and I was really vibing to every song that was played, and like even like the videos I was taking, I was reminiscing in them last night, like just going crazy about like I really went to this. Like there was that many people, and I was one of them. And like I'm a little upset now, but like some of the videos that I took, like of J. Cole, like all you can hear me like screaming in the back is GOAT, the GOAT. It's just like over like every song. Like I was so blown back with seeing him, and I felt like at first I was a little nervous about the whole like Drake thing. I thought it would kind of like overpower everything else, but no, I feel like everything was so concise. Everything was very perfect to the last T. Like everything was really, really good. Yeah, the food was amazing. The drinks were amazing. The time was amazing. The people, if I could really send out that message, the people who came to Dreamville, thank you. Everyone there made it even that much more like spectacular. No one was there doing nothing crazy. I mean, we were all getting along. Someone literally like almost ran into me and tackled me. And he was like, thank you. I'm so sorry. You know, he gave me a fucking hug.
Well, can I
jump in? He gave me a hug. Like that's crazy, you know. And I really love that energy there. So I will be there next year, the year after, and so on and so forth.
So I want to put a pin in that thing because there's one thing because Mr. Smith doesn't even know this, so this is breaking news to him. But Coach Scientist, how was your experience?
So I'm gonna echo a lot of what Carolina said. This was basically the soundtrack of my life. Okay, listen. I was, as most of you know, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood.
Yup.
My first CD was the soundtrack to Beauty and the Beast, the Disney cartoon version. Okay. And then my first introduction into real music was me organizing my mom's CDs. My mom had 1,000, I swear she had 1,000 CDs, and I always was playing them. So she finally let me start listening to Monica and Brandy. And my very first R&B CD for a man was USHERRAYN. Oh, listen,
dog,
listen.
Put on a fucking show.
Oh my god!
And then, my first real rapper because again, I just had to push. I was like, okay, I live here. This is what my mom told me I can't do. I want to listen to Lil Wayne. Listen, the video
and the rules never the same.
That's I like cussing too. So
yes,
he fulfilled all of what I wanted that I probably should not have wanted. But I was watching the video of when he came on that I recorded, and like you, Nas, all I hear is, listen, I was done. I was hyped. And then to Waka Flocka for me took me to college, and he was like, HBCU experience, and I was like, absolutely, absolutely, it was amazing. And I love Mario, even Mario, Ari, and I got my sexy vibe on. To all of that.
Shout out to Ari's body, by the way.
Oh,
listen,
yes.
Dog, she was stacked.
Yes. Amazing. Yes. Sean Paul gave me my reggaeton. Yeah. Which some people, I was actually very excited about Sean Paul.
Yes.
And not a lot of people were.
There's some people who I know who won't be named that didn't even know who Sean Paul was, but we're not going to talk about that.
So I was excited about all the artists. I liked all the artists. Of course, I was excited about more than others. Shout out to Earth Gang Cause. I love them. I only, I'm really sorry about your speakers and the mics not linking up perfectly, but that's okay. You still put on a hell of a show.
Right.
Listen, you couldn't tell it was messing up. So, it was great. Listen, got my entire life. I feel like this is, for us, in a weird way, and I'm corny this way, is a love story of me and oh, I'm sorry, Brother X, my bad. Bloop, bloop. It's our love story in a way. We both like J. Cole, and then that kind of bonded us a little bit more. And then going to Dreamville, this is our thing. Yeah. I can guarantee we would skip any other festival and go to Dreamville.
I'm about to say it's top 2 festivals, and it's not 2. Fight your mama. So, I will compare it to any other festival you bring to the table.
And then my last, because I've been to Afropunk. I loved Afropunk. I would totally go back to Afropunk. And my last thing is, I think sometimes it's better to enjoy a festival where you can actually dance and move around. There was way too many people close to the stage, so I was not crowded. Listen, and that's what I will always do. So don't worry. If you come with me, there will be a spot where you can see and then be close, but not too close.
Hey, shout out to Orange 4, man.
Yes, Orange 4.
Our Orange 4 crew, man, y'all know what it is. If you was there, you know. If you don't know, you missed out. Honestly, I don't want to repeat too much of what was already said, but I think it's phenomenal. I think that it was a great time. I've seen so much growth from it being a one-day event where you have mainly Dreamville artists to being a 2-day event where you've had multiple artists from different genres, from Lil Wayne to all this other stuff, to having a phenomenal headliner, 2 of the big 3 for me, of my generation coming in college, Drake and J. Cole. And it completed the trifecta for me because I had never got a chance to see Drake perform live. I had seen Kendrick back when I was a freshman at Hampton. I have seen J. Cole multiple times now, but it's just been such an amazing experience. And shout out to Drake because I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, especially how they kind of did the set because they had J. Cole come on first, do his set, then have Drake come out. And I was like, oh, are they just going to have Drake the rest of the time? Which thankfully they didn't. They had J. Cole finish off like it is his festival, but I get it. I've been out on Drake for a while, but I get it now. Like I like seeing him perform live, and shout out to the jersey he rocked because he rocked the Bulldogs from J. Cole's high school of Sanford High School, I think it is, because it was the Bulldogs.
Drake also took me back to college too,
yes,
so that felt good.
Yeah, so it's just phenomenal. Now there's this one thing that we have to address.
Oh Lord,
it has nothing to do with how phenomenal the festival was. So listeners, I need you to understand, we're all adults here. We're under the influence at the event. We won't say for what.
We get ready to see, like everybody's
chilling. Like
right
it is
before
literally
J. Cole.
Like they're clearing, like they're doing the sound check. All the stuff is getting ready. So we're all chilling. We're all inebriated, and I'm standing up. I think most of our crew is sitting down. All of a sudden, if you've ever seen the movie World War Z, and you just see like that crowd, like that flood of zombies, just like infected coming across or whatever across the screen. I kid you not, the shit felt like a movie. Literally, you start seeing people, you start coming toward us in a wave. So we literally, as people of color do, we got our big asses up and dipped. Now, mind you, listeners, I need to speak to this young lady. I don't know who you are, but you owe me a Father's Day gift because I saved you. As we were running, there's this young lady, she fell down. So in my mind, I'm like, I can't let this woman get trampled. I don't need this to be on J. Cole's record. We don't want to have a Travis Scott situation. Literally, I go to help her up. I was like, yo, we gotta get you up. We gotta get you up. Then she says out of her mouth, I can't get up. When I heard that, listeners, don't judge me. I ran the gamut of emotions of like, what do I do in this situation? But thank God there was another person right beside me that helped me get her up. And by the time we got her up, everything mellowed out. But Carolina, you wanted to kind of explain what actually happened?
Yeah, all I know is I was vibing like in the middle. I'm a big like safety person because I have a lot of anxiety. So, I'm always thinking the worst. Mm-hmm. So for a second, I was like, I'm going to let loose a little bit and kind of get off from the crew where we were parked out at Orange 4 again. Shout out to Orange 4. Then all of a sudden, it was like some 28 days later shit. I see people fucking running at me. And I'm like, my first thought is, Brother X, culture scientist. I was like, I gotta, where my homies at? Then I was like, forget the homies. I'm sure that Brother X, my culture scientist, I'm gonna worry about.
We will find everybody else.
We'll find you later. So I'm like, okay, everybody's running this way. And my thing is, I don't want to get trampled. I'm not a very large person. I'm 5'2". Everybody here is pretty much taller than I am. So I was like, if everybody running this way, I'm gonna run the left way. I'm gonna do like a 90-degree angle because I don't want to be stuck in that crowd. But yeah, no, my biggest thoughts were, unfortunately with all of these mass shootings, with the stuff that happened with has happened at other shows with other artists, like I think we really have to come in with like a game plan of if something goes down, what is the game plan? Because I think what caught me off guard is all of the thoughts and emotions that were going on in that second. Is like, oh, do I worry about my friends? Do I look out for myself? I thank God that we have superheroes around here like Brother X who just be picking people up. But I'm not strong enough for that. So I just want to say, y'all, if you go out there, keep going out there, keep living your life, keep having fun, but definitely make sure that you get the homies together beforehand and be like, all right, if something goes down, this is the game plan, and make sure you're safe out there.
Yeah. I really think the person just like. So I heard mixed things. My other coworker went.
Yeah, I had people messaging me asking like we were good.
And they said that some girl passed out and then there was somebody else like just pushing and that's what caused the wave. But listen, like they said, it was very scary. And I just ran straight, again, shout out to Orange 4, behind Orange 4 to, help me. And all I heard was, run! And I don't know which one yelled it, but somebody yelled it. From our crew.
That was me. That was me. That was definitely me.
In the seconds that were happening, because I actually was standing in that moment, but I was like doing something, and I was like, oh, and I said, do I have time to grab my bag? And I looked to my left, and I said, nope, and then I ran because I didn't know what was happening. All our stuff was just everywhere after that. Yeah. But we found it. Yeah. Shout out again to Orange 4 because we were right up against the wall. Okay, listen.
Hey, Orange Force saved our life, man. That's the only orange that we trust.
Correct.
Nas, and then we're gonna move on.
I do want to also thank you, Brother X, because you picked me up and I was trying to, all I heard was just, nope, forget it, Nas, run. Forget it, Nas, run. I was trying to pick up my bag and he was picking me up by my collar. So I was like, you know what? Forget the bag. But when I turned around, I was able to kind of grab it, get up, try to start moving and stuff. But then I don't know, I kind of forgot that, Shorty wasn't next to me. So I turned around. I was like, nah, I gotta get her home. I gotta make sure she's okay. I gotta make sure everything's okay. I turned around and I saw you guys huddling. And then I saw, what was happening off to the side. And I saw the tweaker running around, pushing people, causing a problem. And to myself, I'm like, we could run. But then there's 10 of us all together. I'm pretty sure if we all, just got one good hit in, we'd probably, be able to dilute that situation. But I'm still glad that the outcome came out to where it was, that everyone was paying attention. Everyone was pretty wary after that. I'm glad that all of us as a unit kind of started moving in one direction instead of almost fighting with each other and pushing each other around. I know that I made sure that another female, she had fell. I had picked her up first before I continued to run. Yes. But, I definitely felt that we all had kicked in our instincts and was like, okay, let's make sure that everyone's okay on top of trying to get out of here. And that everything was handled in such a more professional setting, as professional ways. So I'm just glad that everyone was okay. I'm just glad that everything kind of worked out. So,
yeah.
And the screen should show the other show.
Well, that's the thing for another thing. Honestly, real quick to sum that up, I think it could have been one of three things. Listen, if you're trying to figure it out, either I think there was a fight or somebody's pushing, or someone passed out and someone's tripping or whatever, or you have some really fucked up people who try to go to events and agitate to cause chaos, or it could have been someone who was having a manic episode. God knows what happened, but thankfully the security were able to get that person because he decided to try to go back into the crowd near the stage. Yeah, it didn't end well for him. I can't guarantee it, but I think he was the dude that we saw carried out in a little tart while right before the performance. So, listeners, that's just insight to Dreamville Fest. If you're wondering whether or not you should go, yes, go, but don't buy up the good tickets because we need them at a good price.
Enjoy general admission for your first time.
Please do.
Unless you're with our crew.
Yes. Because we'll probably be doing Zero Plus. We can talk days and days about this. Maybe we'll do another separate episode, but we have to move on because I want to get to our topic real quick. Now I'm actually going to take a brief moment to give you guys a break and talk about our Black Business Highlight. This week's Black Business Highlight is Kale's Kitchen. It is a local business located here in the Triangle area. It is a Black-owned business where they do catering, meal prep, and cooking classes. Let us put a smile on your face with food made with love. They have a variety of things. This was actually brought to our attention when myself and the cultural scientists were actually looking into catering options for our wedding. So they have a variety of different products and different items and services. So to share with you guys, their menu options vary from, as it loads up, I apologize, listeners. You have Heavy Plates Tuesday, Heavy Plates Fridays, where you can have a ribeye steak dinner for $30, chicken breast dinner for $20, paired with 2 sides. You got the salmon dinner, shrimp dinner. You have phenomenal sides of mac, yams. This is how you know this is a Black establishment.
If you follow them on Instagram, they actually post specials in pop-up days that they do. And man, when they post that food, I just instantly get hungry.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm like, we have yet to get ready to taste them, but don't worry, we will
give you a review on it. We might even make it up.
Listen.
But that is Kale's Kitchen. You can find them online at kaleskitchenllc.com. You can check them out on Instagram and Facebook under the same name as well. And with that being said, let's get back to the episode. So, listeners, we mentioned this earlier in SportsCenter. There is a very interesting case of Angel Reese. Mr. Smith, I know you spoke on it very eloquently, but I think the big controversy for those who don't know was that during the NCAA tournament, there was a lot of trash talking. Yes, Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to explain that just for those that are not, into the entire situation. So basically it started off with Iowa Hawkeyes guard Caitlin Clark, who is one of the best shooters in women's college basketball. I'm talking she's the Steph Curry of women's college basketball right now. Girls pulling up for the logo, ridiculous. She brings a passion to the game that a lot of people are starting to see a little bit more now, so it's great. On March 26th in the Elite Eight, she and the Hawkeyes are playing the Louisville Cardinals, and Iowa beat them, I think, 97-83, I think is the score. And at one point during the timeout, you can see Caitlin literally doing and I'm going to call it what it is. It's not John Cena. It's Tony Yayo doing it. You
that man
can't
his
see
flowers.
Yes. I know Tony Yayo didn't have a lot of hits. Okay. He was G Unit and 50 Cent was a star, but he came up with this. Okay. He came up with the You Can't See Me. Basically saying that the Louisville Cardinals could not guard her. And folks on social media said that the gesture brought intensity in the game and pretty much more was needed. It's kind of bringing a new edge. She's talking that talk and bringing us a new flavor. Well, in the Final Four game against top seed South Carolina, literally in the middle of the game, one of the guards has the ball, I think, at the top of the key to three-point line, and you can see Caitlin Lilly waving her off, like, oh, I'm not worried about you. Go ahead and shoot the ball. You're not going to make it. And which I ain't gonna lie, that's a little bit disrespectful. If anybody that's played ball, if somebody was like, oh, you got the ball? Oh, you shoot? Yeah, whatever. I ain't worried about you. So LSU Tigers, which is part of today's topic, is headed by Angel Reese, who's a sophomore, and they basically said that was disrespectful as hell, and that if Iowa was going to guard them like that, then it was going to be a problem. And Iowa said, and I quote, the way we're going to guard LSU is different than the way we're going to guard the way we guarded South Carolina. Well, LSU and Iowa made it to the national championship game. And let's just say LSU pretty much pulled a Michael Jordan. They took that shit personally. They proceeded to mollywop Iowa. And I mean, listeners, it got close in the third quarter, and then LSU was like, okay, let's go ahead and put our foot in their necks. Well, with probably under a minute left in the game, Angel Reese literally went to Caitlin Clark, granted not to her face, but did the same gesture as Caitlin Clark did with the You Can't See Me, and also doing the Joe Burrow from the LSU college football national championship game, where he's pointing to his ring finger and saying, ring me for the national championship ring. And pretty much social media went into a fucking frenzy. They were like, oh my God, that's so classless. Oh my God, she's so trashy. Oh my God, this, that. And basically what we're saying to that is, she literally did the exact same thing that this woman did. And you mean to tell me that the same thing happened, but now it's a whole different response? But listeners, I'll say this and then I'll kick it back to the guest. Don't take it from me. Take it from one of the best commentators in the game, Stephen A. Smith, who pretty much had this to say about the situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, I love Caitlin Clark. She's been a guest on this show. I think she's spectacular. I'm the one that's been calling her the Steph Curry of women's basketball, and she has done nothing to push that back. I mean, this young lady is spectacular. She's been great for women's basketball overall, not just college basketball, but women's basketball. I think she has the potential, when all is said and done, to be arguably the greatest ever, because when you have that kind of range and that kind of handle, and you can pull up from the parking lot like Steph Curry, for crying out loud, I think that's something that you can transition to the next level, and it's going to be spectacular to see, and I can't wait to see it. But here's the reality of the situation. She instigated this kind of stuff. Let's call it what it is. She was waving. She was doing the Cena. How about what she did to Raven Johnson? She didn't just go into the lane and not guard her against South Carolina in the national semifinal. She waved her off. She didn't mind being disrespectful. So why is it that we're hesitant to bring that up? See, here's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to dilute your point by any stretch in it, because I get where you're coming from. And as a lady, you should take that position along with Molly about how we all need to grow up and accept the fact that these women are highly competitive, they're highly gifted and skilled, and we should give them the love and respect and deference they deserve. But I'm going a step further with this. We all know that there's a white-black issue here, because the fact of the matter is, when Caitlin did it, people were celebrating it, and they were talking about nothing but her greatness. But then the second a sister stepped up and threw it back in her face, now you got half the basketball world saying, well, you know what, that's not the classiest thing to do. Yeah. That's not the way.
It was the exact same thing.
It was the exact same thing. Now, you can make an argument that if they're doing excessive celebration in her face after the game is over, all right, then you can make that argument. But you had people complaining about it when she was doing it during the game. Wait a minute. LSU told you before the game. Yeah. But we didn't like how she was acting towards South Carolina. She ain't gonna do that against us. Correct me if I'm wrong, Janae. That's exactly what they were saying. Going into the game, they let the basketball world know, y'all think that this is going to be some storybook ending for her. Y'all must have got it twisted. We coming, and we gonna get at her. They told you before the game, then they got in the game, got all up in her in Iowa, was up by 17 at the half, and you're waving, you're doing the Cena, well, I ain't here, doing all of that other stuff, and you're bringing up what she did to the competition. Yeah. I'm so happy that Caitlin Clark handled it the way that she did, because in the throes of competition, she's fessing up to, listen, I ain't paying attention to that. They were getting the better of me. I was focused on the moment and the fact that I was with my teammates, but that's all she could say because she kind of instigated this. And the fact that hasn't been brought up tells us a lot about our society as a whole. Yes, Shanae Ogumike is not taking it there. I'm taking it there. You know exactly what the hell you're doing as people when you want to bring up how Angel Reese acted, but you don't want to bring up how Caitlin Clark acted.
Shanae,
that's the inconsistency.
Shanae,
that's the story.
So, yeah, you heard what Stephen A. said, right? And let's be clear. Angel Reese has been getting this all year. This isn't something that just came up just recently. Literally, there was an article that came out, I want to say back in January, where she said, I'm too hood. I'm too ghetto. I don't fit the narrative, and I'm okay with that. I'm from Baltimore, where you hoop outside and talk trash. If it was a boy, you wouldn't be saying nothing at all. Let's normalize women showing passion for the game instead of it being embarrassing. She right. She right on all different fronts. She right on the fact that, you know, let them show the passion. It's an intense game. And also, she right at the fact, as someone from Baltimore, yeah, we hoop outside and talk trash. if you hoop at a killer in Baltimore, you better have some thick skin because you shoot an air ball.
Yeah, that's like I expect the same if I were to go to New York or was it Inglewood in Cali? Like there's certain places that's what you would expect from this person. Why are you trying to change who? Like she can be what she wants to be. She'll show you her class, but right after she's in the middle of a game. I'm not even into sports, and I'm like, come the fuck on. Like,
yeah, go ahead, Carolina.
I also want to say that, especially for a lot of athletes, both male and female, who do come from the quote-unquote hood, because I'm from New York, from a place that is very poor. Shout out Freeport, New York. If y'all know, y'all know. That is what makes them tough enough and strong enough to play at this level. You go out there, you better be fucking good because they are gonna tear you up. Those street rules are basically like no rules. Like you get knocked over because somebody stole a ball from you, like you better not be like, oh, foul, or get up and start crying. You gotta be tough, and then you gotta knock them back down. So I want to say, like, people that come from where we come from, they don't have the privilege of having the top-notch trainers, having people like these basketball camps. Like what makes them good players, what makes them tough is that quote-unquote ghetto hood basketball. So let her be her, play her way. And then the other thing, last thing I want to add, exactly, the way that she learned, the way that she plays, her style, let her do that. The other thing I want to say is, damn, I'm blanking now.
It's all right. It's all right. But I'll talk about it. I mean, it speaks to it's a very real point of there's a lot of racist undertones, if not racism, and it ultimately it's a situation where it's like, dog, it is literally you can pull up example after example after example of like, dog, you mean the same person? Like, literally, we don't even have to talk about Angel Reese. Literally, you go back to like the Sweet 16 between Caitlin Clark and a player. Actually, no, even further back, like the top 32. You had the University of Miami players going against a player from Louisville who were talking that hot shit. They're going back and forth in the shaking the hands line at the end of the game. And then you fast forward to the Sweet 16, and you have Caitlin doing the same shit that the girl from Louisville was doing to Miami, doing it to her. So it's like they even came out in multiple interviews since the game and talked about how they like, no, there should be no criticism or critiques of it because it's like, no, this started way back during the season. This has happened multiple times. This isn't the first time that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have played each other because Angel Reese actually played at the University of Maryland her freshman year. And she just talked to it. It's just like, dog, you got to understand. this is going on all the time, and I think this is an excellent point that Mr. Smith has shared with us. Is that she even said after the game was that all year I was criticized about who I was. What? Y'all ready? I'm sorry. Cut it out. All right. Yeah. So she even said after the game that all year she was criticized about who she was, which is true. We just shared that with you, and that she said that I'm too hood, I'm too ghetto. Y'all told me that all year, but when other people do it, y'all don't say nothing. This was bigger. This was for the girls that looked like me. It was bigger than me. It was bigger than me tonight. And I think it's a bigger point where it's like there needs to be continued representation where it's like there are multiple conversations that can be had about how female athletes have to look a certain way in order to be considered great. Like I love the Skylar Diggins. I love all these great athletes, like female athletes who are phenomenal in their sports, but they should not have to be some antiquated view of they have to look attractive to you in order for you to recognize their greatness. Dog, so there are some of the best basketball you will ever see is women's basketball. Point blank, period. If you're talking about the actual art of the game, how you play it, teamwork, all the elements that you want to teach your child to be able to do to be on a team, that's women's basketball. Point blank, period. So for people to do this, it detracts from the amount of work and time that these athletes put in just as much as the men. Hell, the women's game had more viewers and was a better product than the men's championship.
Mm-hmm.
These are just facts. You can literally look up the numbers. So you have to understand that these situations coming up, it's like, dog, it's cool. It's cool until the rabbit got the gun. Like it's cool when they do it, but when I do it, fuck them. Like you gotta be real. Like you have to be a real. You know what? Because I'm tired of saying it. Because at this point, you know what it is. Listeners, you've known us for long enough. We call stuff what it is. So it's really unfortunate. Nas, you had something?
Yeah, I feel like she brought up a really important point when she was saying that if she was a boy, it'd be a little bit different. No one would say anything. Because I do recall watching the what was it, The Last Dance? MJ.
Right.
He was talking crazy, and he was saying things that I personally wouldn't take that level of disrespect. But and LeBron has said a million things before. Clay does the same thing. Right. Clay literally points at his rings whenever he's losing. But the thing is I kind of grew up in that environment too, where it's like if you're winning, you should kind of be allowed to talk and say whatever you want. Right. If you're losing, you really should leave it on the floor. Like, shut up.
You gotta hold it.
You know, like I'm very quiet when I'm losing. I don't talk that much when I'm winning either, but still, I know how the game works. You know,
that's real. Coach Scientist.
This for me. When people say, like, people are going to say, well, why do you always have to bring racism up, or why does it always come down to race? This is a perfect example. We're constantly giving you examples of why things come down, unfortunately, to race. We're not making it come down to race. Everybody else makes it come down to race by the actions that they do, simply by showing the double standard on, just because she's a Black woman. Let's add the sexism in this world. Okay, that's all. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and then I want to, a whole thing about the whole White House thing.
We'll get to that in just a moment. And I think this a very simple way to look at it, listeners, is that if all things are equal and all parties and everything is a 1-to-1 matchup for 99% of the things, and the only differentiating thing is race, that's when you know that is a differentiating factor. That's also what it comes down to, because it's like, if we have, like we've said most of the time, we gave multiple examples of it. It's like, dog, I'm not blind. Like, don't piss on me and call it rain. Like, I know what I see. I'm not blind. Don't call me dumb or don't call me ignorant. So ultimately, it's inexcusable. Now, there's a lot of other things, and I want to make sure I give Carolina one last thought about this before we move on to the next part, because listeners, this story, it has continued to grow in multiple ways. Carolina, what was your other thought?
I just want to say, as a big fan of men's college basketball, I love it. Like March Madness, that's my fucking Christmas, guys. I pay for all the subscriptions. We have been, for a long time, there has been a push to get women's basketball, both college and the WNBA, to be on the same level as the men's basketball. And the critique is always, well, women's basketball is not as exciting. They don't get as passionate about it, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, yo, look at us. We do, though. Women get just as passionate, get as excited. And then when they do, it becomes this whole controversy. Just back to Naz's point, like, if LeBron does it, if any men do this, it's like, oh, yeah, that's what's exciting about the game because they're so passionate. But when women do it, they're like, oh, whoa. And it is different for women of color and white women. But just in general, when women do it, they're like, oh, y'all are getting too crazy now. Getting too many emotions for you women in this basketball game. So I just want to say that you'll have to make up your mind. You either you want a more exciting game, which is going to include trash talking and passion as it should, in my opinion.
Right.
Or you need to sit down and don't watch any basketball at all.
I agree. So, Mr. Smith, go ahead.
I'll just make mine quick. This is also, which we're going to still talk about this issue, but this takes away from the fact that it was an amazing championship game. Right. Shout out to Jasmine Carson, who's on the bench for LSU Tigers. She played 22 minutes and dropped 22 points, going 5 for 6 from 3. And at one point, like, she's running down like Steph Curry, like, oh yeah, firing at 3. And you could tell like the stroke is there, like you can tell it's on point. So like you could feel the intensity, you could feel like it felt like an NBA game, right? And even going back to when me and Brother X went when we were at Hampton, we could tell you straight up. The women's games were much livelier than the men's games. It got intense. You could see the passion in it. Like it's what makes it fun, right? And yes, you're not gonna have all the dunks, anything like that. But the same way that you saw the no look, the you can't see me gesture is the same thing that you can say about Steph Curry with the night. It's the same thing you can say about James Harden with stirring the pot. It's the same thing that you can see Kobe. May he rest in peace. When he would do the fist punch, the fist bump at the end when he makes a game-winning shot, it's part of the intensity of the game. Now, the only thing that I will say to Angel Reese, which is really not that bad of a critique, honestly, when she did it, at one point she low-key followed Caitlyn for like a couple of steps while doing it. That was a little bit, a teeny bit excessive. But if that's the only thing, there is nothing really bad about this, but to each his own. We all know why. Back to you, Brother X.
So, listeners, you would think after the players, the interviews, and all this stuff say, hey, no, there shouldn't be any critique, you would think that this would be over. Now, Joe Byron, I'm going to need you to have a conversation with your lovely significant other. Let me be respectful of the position. But she fixed her unmoisturized lips, thin unmoisturized lips, to say that, oh, well, traditionally the winner of like the national champions come visit the White House. So she fixed her lips to say, oh, well, we should have LSU come here, but I think Iowa should come to the White House as well. I'm sorry, say what? When have they ever done that in any professional setting or college setting?
Part of the history.
Yeah, I'm about to say, literally, if you want to go back history-wise, like, literally, it has always been the championship team in any sport, any major sport. So where is this coming from? And listeners, if you haven't already figured out by now, the LSU Tigers women's team is predominantly African-American for the most part. And hate to be stereotypical, but the team for Iowa was not. You can put 2 and 2 together. So for that to happen, again, all things are equal, and there's only one differentiating factor in this race. It makes you kind of question some things. So for her to say that was crazy. And I remember reading something, I think it was early today at the time of this recording, where Angel Reese, when she was asked about it, was like, no, I don't accept an apology, because as white people do, when they say something really stupid, they realize, oh, I fucked up. Well, let me go ahead and put an apology out so I don't sound racist. Ma'am, the damage is already done.
Question.
Yes.
So when I read her apology, it wasn't necessarily directly from, was it from her directly?
From Joe Biden?
Mm-hmm. Or was it from her representative?
Honestly, someone of that stature, you probably have someone writing those type of statements.
That's fine. But it still, was it from her Twitter account? Was it from her personal?
Well, I honestly look at certain people of a certain stature, that have social media that they have someone personally running it so that they have a fall guy in case something does slip up and something is said that is dumb and stupid. It is very rare that you have people of that stature actually running the accounts themselves.
Yeah, I'm not.
So it's not an excuse for it, but do I think that the apology should be as big as the disrespect? Yes. Should she have come out and actually done a video, like being seen of her saying it? Yes, of course. I just know that if you're hoping for certain people's social media to say that, then you're gonna be waiting a long time.
Because, like, again, I'm not a diehard basketball person, but even I know it's not how you do it.
Like, if anything, you extend the invitation. Now, if the team refuses, like in the case of the Golden State Warriors when they won and they refused to go to the White House when Trumpito was in there, then that's a whole other thing. You were only extending the invitation. You can't just assume that they were coming because I'm sure Iowa doesn't want to come after losing the national championship. For what? For why? Like, it's not that big of a deal to meet this person to you. Sorry, you're not that important to certain people. Nas, you have something?
It's a side note. Is there any possibility I could run to the bathroom really quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I low-key been holding it.
I'm cutting all that out.
You're good. You're good.
I actually wanted to be a soundbite.
Any more tea?
No. Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
So it's funny, right? Usually, or at least in this one, like the president or some big celebrity or whatever visits the two teams prior to the game, right? To be like, oh, good luck, blah, blah, blah. We hope that you guys do your best, blah, blah, whatever. And so what happened was LSU, Angel Reese, which again, I don't fault her for how she talks because she says what's on her chest. She is the epitome of truthful and transparent, listeners. She said, and I quote, "We didn't want Joe Biden coming to our locker room before the game because her husband didn't even have us coming out the Elite Eight. Hell, he didn't have us come out to Sweet 16. So we don't want that energy." And I'm like, talk your shit. I'm not mad at that. Like, if that's how you feel, you're right. So to go there, and then Joe Biden had this tweet. Now Angel's like, nah. And you know what? I'll take it a step further, which I ain't gonna lie. If I was as bold as her, I would probably do the same shit. Where she's like, we don't even want to go to your funky ass house anyway. Hey, Michelle, can we come to your house, you and Barack? Like, yo.
Like you jumped two presidents back. You're like, nah, I really do not fuck with you.
No, but she legit, I think, didn't she say we going to the Obamas?
Yes.
So, like,
I mean, she claimed it. Now, whether or not that happens,
I bet you it happens. I bet you it's gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because listen, Obama's please be y'all. But please fulfill everybody's wish.
The only reason why it might not happen is Obama. That like Joe is Obama's running mate for a long time. That was his right hand man for a long time. Yeah, he don't want to show him up.
He might not do Joe dirty.
They may not put it out there, but if they just so happen to be in the same space.
Listen, you know them girls. Listen, I would tell the world. I don't know how to keep that a secret. That's why I thought I'd never be invited.
Can't hold water, man.
Listen. Oh, I met Michelle. I met Michelle.
Yeah, but listeners, I think that's just it's just a very really unfortunate situation that this continues to happen in these spaces, and you just don't allow. You gotta be able to allow people to just exist. Like ultimately, like call people on things that aren't acceptable based on our cultural and social norms and agreed upon values. But ultimately, it's like, dog, I think about it this way. For the multitude of people, both Keith Olbermann and the creator of Barstool Sports, and if you know any history about the Barstool Sports, they are trash individuals. It is very gimmicky. For you to come out and to insult and degrade a 20-year-old about a gesture that literally another person just did, not even like a week ago, it makes you look very asinine. And I mean, any people that had anything on the fence about you, you already just giving them more information that's like, hey, I never fucked with them before. I sure as hell don't fuck with them now. So it's just like you just miss with all the extraness, man. Any last thoughts for anybody about this subject, Mr. Smith?
Angel, continue doing what you're doing. Continue bringing the intensity to the game. I thoroughly enjoy it. It brings a new piece that me and Brother X were lucky enough to see in college because we saw a little bit of it then. Hell, we even got into a couple of different altercations.
We got to say redacted.
I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy. Just, we had a couple of words with some people, but overall, I if you take away the fact that everyone always has the same word saying, "Oh, women can't dunk and can't do this, so it's boring," but again, those 3-point shots that they were hitting, the way that the game moved, the interactions between, and how everybody, like the momentum, you could feel the shift. That is where the women's game is heading. And even people that, the powerhouses, UConn and Baylor and South Carolina and now LSU, like that's what we're going to now see more. And when they get to the pros, when they get to WNBA, and then when you get that, now more sponsors come. Now there's more money involved. Now you're bringing it up to there of an NBA to where now you're going to have all of this different effort and energy and tenacity, which then brings a good product for people to watch at home like me and you. So, and I mean, again, I always say that because I'm also a little biased. Again, shout out to Angel Reese, who was a product of, I'm going to shout them out, Liberty Roads Recreation and Park Center, our rec league when we were kids. Of course, when she was coming up in there, I was definitely long gone, but definitely kind of cool to see that she came up as a product of that. And way to put Baltimore on the map, though. You held your shit and you was busting ass. So appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I think that's a good place to put things at for right now. I guess our transparent moment is listen to more J. Cole, go to Dreamville Fest, respect Black women, give women their kudos and their flowers, allow them to be human. Beyond that, man, you can always hit us up on all of our social media at the TNT Pod 123 on Twitter, Truth and Transparency Pod on Instagram, Truth and Transparency Podcast on TikTok, the Truth and Transparency Podcast on Facebook, the Truth and Transparency Podcast on YouTube, and you can always email us at truthandtransparencypod123@gmail.com. For our guests, for our host, for our sound engineer, for our fan supporters. If this podcast gets no bigger than what it is right now, we are forever grateful. They are forever grateful. And in the mortal words of my father, eat the elephant one bite at a time. With that being said, guys, we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Peace. Yeah. They should have never gave y'all niggas a ring.
All year, I was critiqued about who I was. The narrative, I don't fit the narrative. I don't fit in the box that y'all want me to be in. I'm too hood, I'm too ghetto. Y'all told me that all year. But when other people do it, y'all don't say nothing. So this was for the girls that look like me, that's going to speak up on what they believe in. It's unapologetically you. You.